this is your March 2025 soul story. If you have a sun rising or moon in the sign, it's your reading, and it's Romy here. Thanks so much for taking the time to join me. Really appreciate you. Okay, we're going to open up this month for you with the energy of the Two of Pentacles, and it's definitely a month where things may feel like they're in a little bit of flux. We are going to be experiencing some power surges. There's an awful lot happening astrologically, which begins with Venus stationing retrograde in Aries on the 1st. You know, for the next 40 days and 40 nights, it's very likely that you are going to be presented with a series of choices, and, you know, you're deepening within yourself. You're getting to know parts of yourself in a new way. There may be things that you are revisiting, themes from around 8 years ago. So cast your mind back and think about what was going on. You have grown and evolved and changed so much since then. But it's likely that something comes back around in a new light for you to explore and be reflective around. And because this need to go inwards sometimes can create a little bit of distance or some challenge in regards to the relationships in your life, don't let that derail you, okay? This is a month where you have to keep going, you have to keep committed, and you have to keep connected to your heart and keep remembering your why, okay? Also, give yourself a huge amount of grace this month, okay? Sometimes the universe demands an awful lot from us, and it feels like you're trying to find your balance, and in perhaps really complex and quite challenging circumstances. Sometimes we feel like it's splitting us open, but you know what? I feel something about March. You need to know just what you're made of right now, and that is really powerful stuff. There's almost a sense that it's a little bit like Pandora's box opening in March. We're not quite sure what's going to be coming our way. Of course, we've got these two eclipses arriving, as well as a Mercury retrograde also. Your King of Swords has some focus, but also for me seems to be the one that's levying some demands on you as well. Perhaps splitting your energy because you've got a choice or a decision to make. I think sometimes the expression of what is being presented to you is also, remember, being interpreted from your perspective down to your own stories, your own wounding, and perhaps your own history regarding this person or the situation that it's about. If you can stop and just try to, in the moment, really ask yourself, am I really seeing and really hearing and really understanding what's being said or presented to me in this moment? Or am I clouding it and interpreting it from a place that suits me or that serves me or that is comfortable to me? Because you've changed so much, and now is a time where, yes, you can expect some of the tests to show up from the universe to give you an opportunity for that real embodiment to actually happen. And in this Venus retrograde energy, especially as you come to understand your own value in a new way, there's an awful lot that can, yes, in some ways be lost in translation, but at the same time you're getting closer to your own voice and your own essence. But that King of Swords definitely feels to me like a little bit of a tricky character, and what is being communicated or coming in and around you feels like it's a little bit tough. I feel like you've also got to have some strong boundaries in regards to this, okay? Now, pay attention around the 7th, because we've got Sun trining with Mars. Mercury will have shifted into Aries, fellow fire sign, on the 3rd. And I think you're going to have an opportunity to stand up for yourself, or to be more direct in what it is that you want, okay? You're unlearning and you're relearning, and you're doing a bloody great job, actually, Leo. So just remind yourself, like I said, huge amounts of grace this month. Now, we've got a lunar eclipse, full moon in Virgo, arriving on the 13th, okay? And here we are also reminded of the need to release that controlling or micromanaging that can come into effect when sometimes we feel a little bit insecure, or we're just overly fixating or catastrophizing situations, okay? The self-judgment and inner critic can be sort of let loose and a little bit wild around this time, so just be mindful of that. We've got the Three of Cups energy coming in. That could be, a scenario where you find a way, if you like, to be able to navigate a situation. And in fact, what I want to say is, if you can approach the entirety of March, Leo, from this perspective of what do I need to nurture so that I can navigate this situation. So for example, I need to nurture like a fearless amount of self-worth so that I can navigate this by asking for exactly what I need or I want in the situation. I think that's going to go a long way. But I feel you able to sort of get something that you want or get something that you need, but it's almost like you've got to get past this King of Swords energy first. And that could feel like a real nuisance. It might feel a lot more strong than that. Nonetheless, it's going to be an opportunity to really show yourself something. And I do think that you have some important support around you, whether that's just soul friendships or colleagues or people who are, you know, around championing you at the moment. And don't be afraid to just kind of have that counsel and that sort of, you know, that safe space, if you like, to just be able to talk and really express what's going on for you. I think it's going to go a long way. There's a huge amount of clarity that I feel is coming in this month for you. The clarity of what it's going to take, but also what will support you in the meantime comes through. And again, that might come from an unexpected source, or maybe as a result of talking to others who highlight things that perhaps you hadn't really considered or thought about. So definitely be open in regards to that. Our Four of Cups actually is bringing in some nice stillness here, and I think that also matters, particularly because the sort of turbulent energy of eclipse season can be a little bit destabilizing. Remember, things often come in threes. We can come into, you know, very powerful trajectory shifts that we were not anticipating. At the same time, though, we can have these incredible light bulb moments, and often with the retrograde energies, when we're not forcing things, there's so much that can just flow in. You know, it's almost like the waves can just bring them up to the shoreline. And I feel like you've got something of that nature coming in the month of March. But if you do find yourself in a place where all of a sudden you've got more space or time than you'd expected because perhaps something is withdrawn or gone quiet or on hold or just moved out of your life completely, then just take a moment to assess, like, what do I really want to do with this? And again, I feel like through the course of this month, 3 times a day, you know, just asking yourself, what am I doing? You know, how am I feeling? What do I need? Just this check-in, this simple check-in is going to be so beneficial to stop you sort of feeling a bit scattered or ending up getting distracted by the wrong things and the wrong people, okay? 6 of Swords energy. After a time of just contemplation and maybe even just feeling a little bit kind of stuck or a bit checked out or a bit unsure as to the meaning of it anymore. And, you know, it's very natural and very understandable that in any aspect of our life, whether it be a relationship, a job, a project, you know, anything, that we can just fall in and out of love with things, right? This is what I mean about this flux energy. So there's quite a lot of changeable things happening. Now, in Pisces season, of course, we've got 8th house energy for you, which is, you know, very much this rebirth taking place, but that can feel a little bit messy in the middle. But we also talk about debt, right? We talk about debt. Now, you know, whether that's something on a more practical financial debt, we can talk about karmic debt. We can just talk about the reciprocity of feeling like, what do I owe you? Or what do you owe me? Or where is that feeling, you know, still being held in the connection that I've got going on at this time. Okay, so keep that in mind. This whole idea of debt is being explored in a more deep and profound way for you through this 8th house. Your 6 of Swords here, again, this is the clarity that we find, okay? And, you know, as we move through that lunar eclipse, which is definitely going to be revealing something important, but for me, I feel like it's about the support that can come in to help you let go of trying to fixate on things, you know, is also moving into this energy where Mercury is then shifting retrograde. Now, you might return or visit somewhere that you've been before. It might feel like a bit of a pilgrimage or something that you just want to do, you have to do. You feel maybe you need the closure, or maybe you just want to experience that energy again. Maybe there's something of value there that you need to go explore or sit in the energy of. Whatever it is, it feels deeply valuable because it seems to bring about a clarity of mind and help you to come to and arrive at your truth in a certain situation, which may have felt a little bit challenged, or you may have even doubted somewhat yourself because so many astrological conversations are kind of throwing things up, and maybe you're just sort of feeling a little bit unsure. Okay, now asteroid goddess Juno moves retrograde into Sagittarius on the 19th, and we're in this time of renegotiating, right, reviewing, looking at terms, agreements, partnerships, and relationships. A big one that's going to go through this huge metamorphosis as Venus takes her backspin over this period of time. And maybe you're going to want some distance just to really carefully think about what's right for you, or maybe someone's coming back in and you know how you feel now more than ever before. But if it's anything that is more professional or legal or anything like this, remember Juno's going to pour over the details to ensure that you're not getting caught up, that you're going to sign up to anything that will limit and prevent your expansion, your growth, or your ability to move on and progress when the time is right. So even though that could feel super frustrating, it's also going to be really beneficial. So take the time and pay heed and listen. Very important for you through the course of this month, right? You are allowed to evolve beyond their version of you, okay? Just keep that in mind as well as you're contemplating things. Equinox, of course, arrives on the 20th. This is the time to use your rituals this month. Check out my equinox rituals over on the website. For rebalancing, it's a reset. And, if you can work with this energy, it's going to illuminate something beautiful for you. Your hermit is asking you to step inwards because the wisdom that you've gained, and it's a lot, by the way, also needs to be understood in a way that's going to help you express it for what your next step is. And so you might just need to take a moment and say, what did I learn about this? What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about this person? Right? Because there's valuable knowledge that's already been acquired. So between equinox and as we build up to the solar eclipse new moon in Aries on the 29th, you're absolutely going to return to something and sort of pull it out and use it. And it's going to be so valuable in how you approach and how you're supported and how you really think about what is unfolding in and around that time for you, okay? You're about to take a really brave step forward in regards to something, and there's much of it that may feel a little bit like it's into the unknown, but you also are being very directed in regards to that. The wisdom that comes, I think, as well from how you deal with this situation with the King of Swords also stays with you. Now, it may feel that you're sort of dealing with a little bit of a battle scar from that in some way, shape or form. But that new moon Aries almost gives you like another motivating push forward, right? So the universe may have some ideas about what's about to happen, but you too also have some real focus and intention around that time, a new ambition, and there's a restlessness that sort of takes hold that's like, I want to get going. Now listen, March is definitely a time for action, but it's also a reminder that with Venus Mercury backspinning and 2 eclipses, much may feel like it's not in your control, or it's been taken out of your hands, or things are shifting and moving in ways that you hadn't expected or anticipated. But this power surge can also be harnessed. It can also just sort of get you back on track if you felt like you were, a little bit rudderless in any regard, okay? And remember, as I said, Venus will bring choices in for you. And that theme is really key because, again, it's a demonstration of how much you've grown and shifted and changed. And I think one of the things that that's going to do for you is actually enable you to feel even bolder about what you want, because you're going to realize, well, I didn't do it then, and I'm sure as hell going to make sure that I do it now. So there's just something about, not that you had a regret, but that I feel like if you had your time over, you would have done things differently. So now's your chance. So all of this gathering of information and this reflection that happens through this next sort of 40-day period with Venus, so deeply potent and powerful in terms of how it's going to shift you and what it's going to do for you. But like I said, you got to give yourself a lot of grace, right? Because it's not necessarily the easiest month of the year, but perhaps one of the most important. The other thing to be mindful of is your energy field. Remember, this is a year, a masterclass in manifesting. This is what we talked about. So that means you have to have a strong energy field, right? You can't come from a place of depletion, or if there's tears or holes in your energy field. So do the work around that, strengthen it, build it up, and you'll notice a huge difference in terms of what you're able to call in, and how much more clear thinking and stronger your intuition becomes. Now, if you're new to the channel, the last 3 cards we look at in the extended version of my reading, we'll talk for another 25 to 30 minutes or so. We'll also look at a personal and a relationship card for you. I hope you'll join me. I'm just going to clarify the main spread to see again the direction we're going to be taking this. Ace and 4 of Pentacles. It feels nice. What about this King of Swords? 2 of Pentacles. He's definitely causing the imbalance. Page of Swords. Okay. 3 of Cups. Let's have a look. Now, if you want to check out my website, romywiser.com, you're going to find ways to work with me. If you're after a personal reading, you're also going to find my products, my Oracle deck, Life Soul Vision, also my new journal and my book, Musings. You'll find my membership and all of the other Sacred Soul support, including my Goddess reports, meditations. Everything is designed to help you on your spiritual journey, yeah? Hanged Man. And the Chariot. Okay. The limbo doesn't last for long. You know, if there are some obstacles and challenges to navigate, it's quite likely this month you're able really to move through them very quickly. Just remember what I said, you know, what do I need to nurture so that I can navigate this? It almost just feels like that's how the universe wants to work with you in the month of March, okay? Right, let's have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle for Leo. What do we have? The Sun. Beautiful. We've got Maverick of the Light, Dancer of the Shadows. Again, this face-off with this King of Swords. Could be an air sign. It might just be somebody that's coming in, like, you know, just a little bit more disagreeably, I feel. There's your spirit lion showing up for you, and your sun. Always get that support coming through. We've got Soothe Your Soul and Labyrinth of Sweet Surrender. You also have Equinox, which is lovely to see coming up for you. Let's look at one more oracle for the month for Leo. Of course, coming into 9th house energy when we move into Aries season, and again, there's just something about the knowledge, the wisdom that you've acquired that needs now to have some way of being expressed and really embodied. And that's where the opportunities and maybe the test will show up. Intention. Lacking personal direction begets confusion and life as a pawn to someone else's game of chess. Interesting. We will look into that in our extended reading. I hope you'll join me. Thank you so much for being here. Have a beautiful month ahead. Take good care of yourselves. I'll see you again next time. Bye.